Hey guys, welcome back to Green's Lawn Care's Turf Tip series. And so today what we're going to be talking about is watering your lawn. And so I don't know if you can see in this video, but the gods have opened up and it is actually sprinkling on us a little bit as I'm recording this video. But hopefully I don't have to redo this video. So anyways, this spring it rained so much that you didn't have to water your lawn, as typical in the spring, okay? And we had, I think we got 27 inches. I don't know what the span was, but I remember 27 inches. It was 5 inches more water this spring than we typically get. And so that presented different issues in our industry, but it also messes with the grass a little bit, okay? And so here's why. When you get so much rain and it's so frequent, you're teaching the roots of the grass to stay high to the surface, okay? Same thing what happens when you mow your lawn too short. If you mow the grass really short to the ground, you're teaching those roots to stay really short, okay? If you want your roots to be, this thick, you need the grass on top to be this thick or this tall on top of the ground as well. So that's why we always cut at a higher level, so then the roots stay lower. When the roots are lower, they can absorb more nutrients, they can absorb more water, and it's better for them. So when we talk about water, what we want is very infrequent waterings, and we want them long. So what that means is so when somebody puts in an irrigation system, they think, oh, we need to water our yard every single day for 30 minutes. That is the worst thing that you could possibly do. You are setting your yard up for failure, because if you're going to water every single day, I'm going to assume you also fertilize, you also manicure your lawn, but you're actually hurting the lawn and you're opening it up to more diseases and funguses, okay? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to set the yard up for success. Grass is natural. You don't really have to mess with it for it to grow, okay? It has its own cycles. But what you need to do is you need to water it one time a week, and if it's crazy, crazy hot, maybe two, but one time a week, and you need, on average, about an inch of water a week. So you're gonna say, Matt, I have no idea how do I know it's been an inch of water, okay? I'm just gonna set my sprinkler up and it's gonna go and I'll set it for 30 minutes. Okay, well that's fine. But let's see if we can measure that a little bit, okay? Because we're trying to get an inch of water, An inch of water is not a ton, but it's gonna take a little bit of time. And the reason we want it to be an inch of water is because we want it to be enough so it's going to really settle, get into the ground, and it's going to get deep enough that the roots have to drive downward to grab the rest of the water that's in the ground. Okay, so that's why we want it long and infrequent. Okay, we don't want to water it 3-4 times a week for 30 minutes every time. You're hurting the lawn. So everybody has or have seen one of these. Okay, this is tuna fish. You can get chicken like this. And this cup is about an inch, okay? So what we recommend people doing is taking this, emptying out the contents. You can eat it, throw away, whatever you want. But empty out the contents and then put this in the yard somewhere, okay? Turn on your sprinkler system and let it go, okay? And come back 30 minutes later. See how much this thing is filled up. If it's all the way to the brim, then you know about 30 minutes is what it takes to get an inch of water every single time. Now, if you have lower pressure and your water system can't push out as much water, maybe it's going to take an hour to fill this thing up. But that's how you measure it for your house, okay? So just take this, set it in the yard somewhere, turn on your sprinkler system, make sure you get the whole yard. You may have to move your sprinkler systems from this corner to this corner, so then as it's rotating, it gets the entire yard. And then that's how you measure if you're getting an inch of water a week. Now you only need this the first time. Once you've filled this up and you know it only takes an hour, well, just, you know, you just know that it's only going to take, you know, we're going to set it for an hour and then we're going to come back, turn it off. Okay. Now, if that's too much, the other thing you can do is after you get this thing fixed, you can go to Lowe's. Okay. You go to Lowe's and they have timers. Okay. They're like 25 bucks. They're super cheap. Set that timer up on your hose and say, hey, we're going to set it for 8 a.m. in the morning to go off one time a week, and it's going to turn off at 9. And then you never have to mess with it again. It'll automatically go and turn off at that exact timing ratio that you have, okay? So the next thing, so we know we have to have an inch of water a week, okay? That's our frequency. And so the next thing we need to talk about is when to water, okay? We don't want to water in the middle of the day because as soon as it hits in the heat, it's all going to evaporate and you're not going to get a lot, okay? You don't want to do it at night, in the evening, unless you absolutely have to, because the temperatures are coming down, the water is going to be sitting on there, and you're going to be presenting disease and fungus into your yard. Okay, so the best time to do it is in the morning, say 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, so then the water can get there, it can set, so it can soak into the ground, but then it starts evaporating all the leftover water that can't be absorbed right now. So then you don't get as much fungus. You definitely don't want to do it in the middle of the day. If you put water on the grass in the middle of the day, you're just going to help burn up the yard when the sun's beating on you. So the last 3-4 weeks, we have had nothing but absolute heat. Okay, it's been mid to high 90s, and it has been brutal. It feels like with the humidity well over 100 degrees, and the yards are really struggling. So if your yard is really struggling, it's probably gone dormant by now, but you can still wake that up a little bit if you start watering your yard. We're gonna walk, actually this is my house, and I don't water the yard a lot, which I should because I just get so busy working, but we're gonna walk into the backyard really quick, and we're gonna take a look at what kind of stress happens to the yard in this heat without water, okay? So the front yard's pretty green, but there's a lot of shade here. So it's not a bad, it's not bad yet. As we walk into the back though, there's no shade in the back of this house. And so you will see as soon as we get back there, all of the stress that this yard has gone through. You'll see a little bit of green, but you'll see a lot of brown. Okay, so let's turn around. You see all this brown? That's because of a lack of water. It's been so dang on hot. But you can see out in here and out in this way, there's starting to be green coming back. The temperatures the last couple of days have been a little bit lower. The temperatures tonight have been a little bit lower. We got rain, a good amount of rain last night because a hurricane hit down near Louisiana. It took a couple days, and now it's got up here into Indianapolis. But this will all start to green up a little bit. If you look really closely down in here, you can see some green starting to come back into here. But this has gone dormant because it's just so hot. There's been no water introduced to this. But if we start watering again, you'll be able to see that it'll start turning green. Now here's an interesting thing. When we aerate and overseed, we use turf type tall fescue. Okay, this grass was all already here, but this is a really good comparison why you pay good money for good seed. Okay, I aerated and overseeded, and you can see some of the patches in here. Okay, that's all tall fescue. This right here, okay, this right here, this thing, when we bought this house, there was a umbrella sitting there, and this is all turf type tall fescue seed. Okay, and it has been hot, and you can see what happens to all this bluegrass seed that's in here. Bluegrass is very temperamental. It's not great for the Midwest, but turf type tall fescue is really good. And you can still see what the tall fescue looks like. It's still green, even though I haven't watered it, as opposed to all this bluegrass. Bluegrass needs a lot of attention. So anyways, getting back to the video, let's review. So you need an inch of water a week. You don't want to water every day. You don't want to water every other day. Just an inch of water a week would do perfectly fine. And you want to measure it with a tuna can to see how much you really need. And in this heat, you may have to water a couple times a week. Mow your grass really tall. It's going to help with the roots, and you guys should be set. So if you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, drop them in the video link below this below here, and we'll get those answered in one of the next videos coming up. But this is a great topic for today, as we've had no rain for a long time except last night, and it's been brutally hot, and the yards are very, very stressed right now. So if you do have any questions, please reach out, leave them in a comment, and we'll get them answered as soon as we can. You guys have a wonderful day. Hope you enjoyed this turf tip from Green's Lawn Care. See ya.